Lovely, lovely to see you, Duncan. And I'm recording this because I got some guidance the other day, and for whatever reason, it's still not working. So anyway, we're going into the Facebook group this week. Which is actually quite interesting because this week we will be tackling into what my favourite topic of all. About rediscovering your why, which I'll share with you. But our wonderful Duncan had quite an exciting week last week, didn't you? So it was
Certainly was.
stepping up, wasn't you? Stepping up in a platinum 3 day training
Yeah,
and very, very high level feedback on how to take your business to a whole new level.
yeah, yeah.
Wow,
It was very powerful. Yes.
you look very pleased with yourself, Duncan.
Well, it is the stuff we do with Andy is quite transformational. Um, there's the nuts and bolts of trying to get good at actually presenting, but then the underneath it all is a much more sort of powerful personal transformation that takes place, and it does feel good. Yes.
Hmm. Yeah.
Fabulous.
I'm looking forward to learning more next week. But he looks like he's survived, and that's the
Yeah.
important
I mean, it was yes. It's pretty. What's it? There was a phrase. It's either is it radical honesty or radical transparency. There's a phrase I read somewhere else, and it's like that. There's no point in messing about with platitudes. It's straight into the feedback.
Yeah, yeah. Or as he says, so there is no sandwich, there is just the meat.
Yes.
He said, with us coaches and trainers, he said, what we would do with them is do the what you did really well, the
Yes.
this is what you need to change, and then close it out with what you did well. So that bit in the middle, it's like that sandwich, and he's like, nah. So, and that's the beauty of when, as ace coaches, we do exactly the same with each other because we don't need to do all of that. Oh, that was all really, really great. We just focus on that, which is great. So, anyway, enough about him. This is about me.
Exactly.
No, actually, it's not about me. It's about all of you. And that's the important thing about it. So, once again, I'd like to thank you, Lorraine and Duncan, for joining me on my Tuesday session, because it's never the same when you're on your own, talking to yourself. Doesn't have the same impact. This week I'm just going to do a bit of a share of the presentation first of all, just so we can see where we are. And there might be some changes that are going on in the future, but not just yet. And it will all become apparent. Hang on. Oh no, I've just shared the wrong one. Or have I? Or haven't I? Have I? Haven't I? Where am I? I've just lost where I am. So, is that all gone? That's magical. I'll tell you what, don't you love it when you just lose what it is that you've just shared? There it is. There we are. There we are. Oh, so I was in the right place. I hadn't actually shared it properly. So, let's just get you on Zoom. Sharing. There we go. Right. Okay. So, so anyway, can you see that, guys? Can you give me a thumbs up? Can you see right? Okay. So, for everybody that's out there, obviously Lorraine and Duncan are well versed on this by now, but when we're going through this whole process, it's really about giving you some guidance and tools and strategies that I teach in my full program, the Freedom Transformation Formula. And what I do is like to do on a week by week's rota, covering off each of the different areas. And reset is all about creating awareness and resetting where our overall stress levels. That's the first key stage. The second key stage is all about re-injecting vitality and energy into our lives because you can't drink from an empty cup. And the important thing is that it's great that you know what's causing you stress, but if you haven't got the energy to do anything about it, then you're just going to keep spiraling out of control. The third week is reflect, which is what we touched on to the other week, and that's all about looking within yourself through introspection. And you may ask yourself, what's that mean? It's exactly that. It's being able to ask the question, to look within yourself. It's almost like holding up a mirror to yourself to try to understand the decisions and choices that we've made. And this week is one of my favorites, which is Rediscover, which is all about finding your why. But I'm going to go into that in a bit more detail in a moment. So, as I've already said, this key stage is about finding your why. And what do I mean by that? You know, ultimately, finding your why is like your inner compass. It's the thing that drives you towards anything that you do. And without having a clear why, then you're pretty much in a what and a how situation and drifting along ultimately. And, you know, at the end of the day, we are not getting any younger. And for every single day that you're not focusing on what your clear why is, your vision of your future, that is a day that you're losing out. And for anybody that's actually done this whole exercise before, have you ever done the exercise of, you know, what the average age is that we actually live to? So if you had, say, a box, so a page, and you put on, I think it's probably about 82 squares on the piece of paper, okay? And on those 82 squares, you cross out effectively how old you are right now, okay? And then along with that, you then cross out the number of days or hours, should we say, that you're actually sleeping on this specific exercise. And if you think about it, you're then looking at, so if you're, right, I'm 54. So I'd cross out 54 squares on that. And then I would then effectively have the remaining 82 of the 82 left. So it doesn't leave me. I've got less squares than I had when I was much younger. So within that period of time, that's the amount of time that you've got left to live your life. And if you think half of every single one of those days you're asleep, so you're losing that opportunity, then the other part of it is that you're actually working as well. So how much time you're actually spending at work doing those exercises. I'm not asking you to fill in this whole box right now, but if you've ever heard of that idea, have you done this before, Duncan? Because I think you nodded your head. You're on silent, my love.
No, I haven't done that before.
Yeah.
I was just putting this picture in my head, and you think, oh, crumbs.
Yeah. It suddenly gives you that sort of wake up call.
Mm.
And, you know, you see all these boxes that are being crossed out, see the amount of time that you're actually asleep, you know, for half that time. And when you're not asleep, you're working. So it's really so important for you to sort of get that picture in your mind of the fact that you've actually got less time than you had. You know, if you was, say, 20 years old, then you've got effectively, you know, about 60 years ahead of you of opportunity. Well, I'm sorry, guys, we've got a lot less than that. So anybody that's out there that's in that 50 plus mark, you've got less time alive than you had living. Wake up call. And the question is do you want to be living that life that you don't enjoy living? Do you want to continue drifting along in a way that doesn't satisfy you? And you see, I'm getting really passionate about this today. So, and whatever you do, you need to be able to connect it with your heart. Whatever you do in your life, you need to have that warm heart feeling that keeps you passionate and gives you that drive and energy. But the problem I so often see is that, you know, whether it's leaders, entrepreneurs, business owners, they do not have a clear clarity of what it is that drives them. They don't know what it is that they want to do. They've got no clear direction. They've got no clarity of where it is that they want to go. But when my clients work with me using the brilliant smile solution, and that is exactly what I want to see, is the second that you think about what your why is, it creates that big, bright smile. And it's hard not to. And if you ever noticed it, have you ever spoken to someone and turned around and said, "Oh, so what is it that you do?" And you just see them go, "Oh, and it's really sort of pretty non-dismissal, like non-dismissal, um, non-committal. It's been a long 2 days. What can I say? But it's non-committal, and you can see there isn't that sort of light, that energy, that thing that sort of lights them up and gives them some passion. And this is where it comes in with the brilliant smile solution. It not only helps them to rediscover their why, it helps them to also identify what their values and their beliefs. Because ultimately, when you're not connected with your why, your values, your beliefs, that then starts getting out of balance, and that's when it starts tipping over, and you're not connected with that. And it does effectively give you so much energy and lift and passion, and it drives you every single day. It is effectively your lighthouse. It's the thing that lights you up. So now, here's the thing. The way in which I help my clients actually achieve the brilliant smile solution is on a 3-step process. And the first step is purpose, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more in a moment. And that is effectively it, is that journey of how you actually discover what your why is and your purpose and your passion. The second key stage I help my clients go through is trying to establish what their values and their beliefs are, their principles, so they can then connect that up with their why and make sure that they are all aligned. And the third key stage is once they've understood what their purpose is and their principles, then they then start building a pathway of change so they can then start putting into practice and deliver and achieve what it is that they need to achieve. Now, I saw this today, and you might actually recognize it, Lorraine. Yes, yeah. And I love this. I absolutely love this. Always remember to fall asleep with a dream. Good old chat has done it with a dream twice. Anyway, and wake up with a purpose. Because ultimately, that is so true, isn't it? We need to be able to visualize what it is that we're actually doing within our lives. Now, I would like to do a little exercise with you today, okay, if you don't mind, if you give me some permission to do that. Because one of the things that I would love to do with my clients, and I do with my clients, is try to find that clarity of purpose. Because and I'm going to ask this question with you guys first of all, and I probably know the answer with Lorraine straight away before I go through this process. Do you have a clear vision of where you see yourself in a years from now or in 5 years from now? You have an ultimate vision of where you see yourself, okay?
Yes.
What about yourself, Duncan? Do you have a clear vision of, your ultimate dream future?
No, not quite. I'm sort of getting there.
Right. Okay. Which is why this question is really important. I have had several discussions over the last couple of weeks with various individuals. And, when I've asked them this same question, and I turned around and said, what future do you desire? What is your utopia? What would be your ideal situation to be in? And that could be, where your location is, where you're financially secure, that you've got more personal freedom, that you're spending time with your family, you're going off on holidays, you're doing trips, you've got a villa somewhere. I don't care. But whatever it is, you need to have clarity of what that actually looks like. Because unless you've got clarity of what that looks like, then all you're going to be focusing is what you haven't got right now, as opposed to be focusing on what you are in the process of creating and visualizing and creating that dream future, which is why I love that statement. You know, when you go to bed with that dream, it should be planted in your head. And unfortunately, a lot of the people, you know, well, not a lot of the people, the three people that I've spoken to over the last couple of weeks have no clarity of that at all. They don't even know what they want a year from now, let alone what their dream desire and their dream future is. Because sometimes that dream future might take 5 years, it might take 10 years. It depends on where you are on your journey. And without it, is that what are you mapping out right now? Yeah, exactly. You've got a vision board that you're looking at right now. And the good thing is that as soon as you think about it, what actually happens? What is the natural process as soon as you think of that dream situation, Lorraine?
Oh my God, I'm looking at it and I'm excited. And it's not just about me and things that I want to achieve and do. It's about what impact and knock-on effect that's going to have on others. You know, people that I introduce to the business, people that I work with, customers, clients, right across the board. And then Ian and other family. It's just like I'm like, wow.
Yeah, yeah. But you can't help but not smile. Duncan, with yourself, I know you said that you're still trying to find out what, but when you even start to think about that, and I'm going to go through this process in a minute, but when you start to think about it, how does it make you feel?
Well, the first thing is it does make me feel sort of grateful for what I've actually got, because there's a lot of what I'm doing is what I dream about doing. So I'm very happy with that. So I have to be sort of grateful for that. And now I've got it, but I need to sort of also channel my energies in some sort of future direction, and that's not quite there yet. And then so without that, you're sort of cruising a little bit, you know, kind of obviously I'm doing the stuff we're working on together, so a lot going on, but the time has come to really start channeling my energies in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is this little exercise, which it hopefully is going to also help you with this journey as well, Duncan. I just need to make sure I'm sharing properly. And so the first key step, and for anybody that's actually watching this on catch up, I'd love you to try this exercise with yourself, because the more you do this, the easier it becomes, because quite often people really struggle with what their dream future looks like. So what I would like you to do at the moment is, if you could just shut your eyes, the two of you, and what I would like you to do is visualize right now where you see yourself in 5 years from now. What does that look like? Okay. I'd like you to really, really think about that. Okay. And that could be, you know, like a location that you're in, something that you're doing, something you're experiencing, people that you're with, you know, all of those, you know, whether it's, you know, the bricks and mortar or something. You know, if I thought about my specific situation, and I think you two have heard it before, is that, you know, is that having a like a retreat or a place that's on the side of a mountain. Yeah, see, Duncan's already smiling with it. Side of a mountain, and it's surrounded by green. There's a lake in front of me. I've got a pergola on the back of the property, all covered in wisteria and hanging down with beautiful colours, and I've got a long table where I've got all my family sitting around me. I've got my swimming pool where my grandchildren are playing to the right of me. I've got another pergola which is where all my training is taking place, and I've got my yoga and meditation, and behind the building it's got my camper van that I've designed. So I've got absolute clarity of what that looks like and the freedom that I want with it. So I would love you to sort of visualize what that would look like in 5 years' time, your dream desire, okay? And as I turn around and say, what does it look like? Think about all of the things that are there, even if it is, in terms of finances, what do those finances look like? How much will you be earning? How much will be going into your bank each day, each week, each month, each year, to help you to get that dream desire of where you actually want to get to? Even visualize that money going into the bank. What does that actually look like? Okay. And how are you using that money to benefit you, your family, your friends, the community? What are you doing with that? Okay. How does it sound? So when you think of that dream future, what does it sound like? Can you hear the birds singing? Can you hear a river flowing? Can you hear the sound of a cork popping from your champagne bottle? Can you hear the money being put into your hands? Can you, I don't know, like hear the conversation, the buzz of your family around you chatting and laughing? Okay. What does it sound like? Then the next question is, what does it feel like? How does that feel? Okay. And what are you touching? What is the experience? What is the sensation? How does it feel in your hands? Whether it's touching plants or trees, or holding your children or your grandchildren, or your partner, holding them in your arm, or the feel of the water on your hands, or brushing the plants, or the money landing in your hands, or as you're handing that money over to help a community, or whatever it is how does that feel? All right. And the next thing is, what does it smell like? What smells? Oh, lovely, Lorraine, she's gone off down another road. So, oh dear,
Oh my God, I've got no sense of smell.
well, there you go then. You can imagine what that smell would be like. Okay, so for the smells, those that can smell, can you smell the trees? Can you smell cut grass? Can you smell the wisteria that's hanging down? Can you smell the perfume or the aftershave of the person next to you? Can you smell the baby smell that you smell from grandchildren? Can you smell the smell of money? Are you enjoying that smell? All of those experiences. And then finally, what does it taste like? What does the taste of whatever you're enjoying, experiencing in that moment, how does it feel in your mouth? What is the sensations of that? Can you smell the taste of it as well, Lorraine? The glass of wine. And so whether it is the taste of beautiful food, or as you're enjoying the experience of the wine or the champagne, or the succulent piece of steak if you're a meat eater, or whatever it is that you choose to eat, what does that actually taste like? And it could be the taste of money as it's landing into your bank account. I don't mind, but the important thing is that you have to embody what it is that you're visualizing. Okay. So the question is how do you feel right now? I'm going to stop sharing right now. So now, do you know what I loved seeing you go through that exercise, Lorraine, is that you was punching the sky, you were smiling, you was, that your face, the energy levels were going through. How did you feel, Lorraine?
Amazing, because it didn't just include me. And I think whenever something includes others, it has that extra dimension.
Yeah, yeah. And
I
it
was
makes
I
it
was in
like
a
you feel like,
beautiful
go on.
I was in a beautiful dress and fabulous shoes.
Looking kick-ass. So, and what about you, Duncan?
Yeah, it was a very good. I've written down loads of things here. Right, I had to open my eyes every now and then just to do that, and then yeah, about what the day, the shape of the day, going out and doing things like going to the cinema or what have you. After I've just done something like you say, yoga and things like that. I mean, it's also doing things like this. So the bit I've just got to fill in really is we're probably, our plan is to move to London actually, and so we have to sort of make that happen somehow.
Hmm.
uh, and and then then go out and do things in London, and then I was just envisaging just having finished a coaching session with someone, possibly I've gone to a school to talk to a school about uh, about life and careers and what have you. Uh,
Hmm.
so I'm leaving there, and we're just going to the cinema, and so that was the sort of picture I sort of painted. Yeah. So we've got to, I've just got to do a bit more work, well, with you, just to figure out like how to kind of like zoom in on um, the work. Because the interesting thing about last week was that what happens when you're stood there, it kind of tests you, and if you're not right on your why, you struggle with getting the, you fumble over various words and phrases because you're trying to remember them. But
Hmm.
when you're bang on, well, you don't even think about it. You're off, and you sound great and everything. So it's an interesting test with the work we're doing on presenting,
Hmm.
because once you sort of align the presenting with what your sort of why is, you're off, and then
Hmm.
you don't need to write anything down hardly, because you've got the structure in your mind and you just do it. And
Yeah.
so I'm just I can feel it like at my fingertips. So we'll have to pick that up
Hmm.
next time.
Mhm. But it is fascinating how you go into flow, isn't it? When you have more clarity of that why, it makes it easier for you to articulate what it is that you're trying to say in your messaging because you're connected to it.
Yeah, and I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah,
That's the challenge. Yes,
yeah. Well, that's all good. So, and
yes,
the important thing that you said there's a number of things that you've written down. So I'm assuming one of the reasons why you want to be in the city is so it gives you that opportunity to go out and go to the theatre, the cinema, just go and socialise, go and do things, enjoy, the experiences that you've got around you. Now, the important thing that you turned around and said there is that now you've identified your sort of utopia of where you'd actually like to get to, it will make it much easier because now what you can do is say, right, okay, then, well, that is where I want to get to. That's my utopia. So, how am I going to get there? What do I need to do to achieve those different things? So, one of
yeah,
them might be feeling all healthy. Well, okay, then if I want to be really, really healthy, what do I need to do to sustain my health? If
yeah,
I want to have a nice house that's in London, which isn't going to come cheap, what do I need to do to make sure I can pay for that? You
yeah,
know, and be careful. Don't say afford it because that then makes it suggest that it's something that may be unattainable.
yes,
Reframing it into say, what do I need to achieve to pay for it? Because you're saying I'm doing that, I'm actually going to pay for that property.
yes,
Each one of the things that you might turn around and say is, right, okay, these are all the things. How am I going to do that? Then break all those things down even further. That then takes it into the task. Okay. And every single time you go to bed, dreaming and visualizing that perfect utopia, then you'll wake up with a clear purpose. So
yes,
I'm going to wrap it up, guys.
yeah, yeah,
So,
Thank you.
yes. I was picturing walking along the canal to Little Venice and around there. Let's see.
That's perfect, Duncan.
Yeah, and I've done it before because we went to live in I look back on it now. I went to live in Holland for a while. My children were born there, and that was sort of what it was at the time. But I just once I decided to do it, And I look back on it now and think, how on earth did that even happen? I mean, I bought a flat there. I don't speak Dutch really, and so
Don't
it was,
matter.
all
You don't
sorts of
need
crazy
to.
things start happening, don't they?
Yeah.
They all speak perfect English, don't they?
Well, there's that. Yes, yes. And so it's just there's these moments I look back and think, well, yeah, goodness me.
Mm,
Because when you're younger, you're a bit like a child in a way. You just do stuff,
mm.
and then you think, oh. And then as we get older, sometimes we put these barriers. I think I've done that with myself a little bit. So
Can I challenge you there?
yes,
That's not entirely true because not all
okay,
youngsters will go and take that risk. It's actually as we get older, we become more confident to be able to take those risks.
right,
Now, there's some of us that are already been like it. So, like yourself, you've just gone, yeah, just go for it. I know people that when they were 18, 19, went and travelled around the world. And there's other
yeah,
people that have decided to do it in their 50s. So we have different times that we're going to do things, and our
yes,
confidence levels will change over time for different reasons and different things.
yeah, yeah,
The difference is right now, you're probably saying to yourself, well, why haven't I done it? Because what you've done is stayed in the um, family, work, family, work, family, work, family, work, but just not being present. You've just been in
yeah,
that cycle. And it's so easy to fall into that trap and forget who we are.
yeah,
And why we exist.
yes,
so, so hopefully tonight has been a positive session for you both, and you've taken some good things away from you.
amazing.
Wonderful, as always. Thank you so much, Keely.
My pleasure. Have a fantastic evening. I'm just going to go and get some food because I'm hungry.
That's a good plan for me too. Take care. Nice to see you,
Ciao,
Duncan.
ciao.
Yeah, you
Take
too, Lorraine.
care.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, see
Bye.
you.
Love. Bye.
Thanks.